Jack, I'm breaking my cardinal rule.
Oh no.
Um, with 9 games gone, Jack, I'm looking at the Premier League and I'm like, what's this?
It's
My
not just
team
it's not just
on top.
alphabetical order anymore,
It's,
mate.
it's, it's, it's a bit mad, but again, it is 9 games, so gotta wait to one more. So that after the next one, and we're still top, I can go a bit bonkers.
We're we're close to a quarter of the way through the season, mate. I'm just,
But Jack, let's get right into it. There have been numerous things going on with Arsenal this year. People saying they haven't faced a challenge after being Palace, yeah, after being Brentford, even after being Tottenham. So many questions. They haven't faced a team yet. We have faced the team who finished second last season, a point off Man City. We beaten them 3-2 at the Emirates. Liverpool team who haven't been in the greatest of form, but it's still Liverpool. It's still Jurgen Klopp. It's still great players like Mo Salah and Virgil
right.
van Dijk there. And Arsenal with this young, fun, entertaining team have done it again, and they put down another stamp. And yes, I get it. Manchester City are Manchester City, but Jack, should we start taking Arsenal seriously in terms of this title race?
I'm still gonna stick to the line that I'm not comfortable yet putting them right up there. Now, second, you bet. Absolutely. A chance to win the title? Absolutely. If you gun to my head, who you having? I'm gonna take Man City. I'm sorry about that. Spurs, not playing well but getting good results, got a result there. Great. Liverpool, great team, not playing well, got a result. Great. Man United side playing a little better, didn't get the result away from home. I still hold the opinion that I had over the first couple of game weeks, which is, and this means Arsenal will do very well. Don't get it twisted. This means Arsenal will do very well this year. Arsenal will beat the teams they should beat. I have no doubt about that. I think the Arsenal of old, where they get tripped up at Burnley away, right? Or they get tripped up at maybe this year would be Forest away or whatever. I don't think that happens anymore. This is a mentally stronger team. This is a better prepared team. And also, this is a fully bought in football team to Mikel Arteta. I don't think historically we always had that. I think it's been a slow burn for him to be there and to be like, I'm staying and I'm good at this. This is my first managerial job. And yeah, it's an Arsenal Football Club. And I know it's a big undertaking, but I have a good education. I played myself. I know my stuff. I think he has the respect of the players, all his staff, the whole organization. We saw, obviously we're biased because of the documentary, of course, but we've seen what he's about. I think everybody in that organization is bought into what he's doing. My worry though, is the stumbling blocks of if they come up against a team who are the same as or better than them, I think they'll lose those games. And to me, those are the kind of fine line differences. Manchester City, I think Man City would win the game at the Emirates and the game at the Etihad. That's just my view. Again, hot take. I'm expecting that to be on a little YouTube short maybe in the future when Arsenal win both of those games. But that would be my thing. But James, top four, and James, my prediction right now, probably second. Pretty good going. You got to be feeling pretty good.
Jack, I feel like you mentioned the fact of teams who are equal to us or better.
Right.
We've proven that Spurs, who people know how great they've been, Antonio Conte, we beat them convincingly. Liverpool, I felt for, especially first half, not really, but second half, we outplayed Liverpool and deservedly got all 3 points. And these two teams who people consider better than Arsenal, we beaten them.
This season, though, do you think they've been better than you this season? That's I guess my barometer. That's
going
what
into
I'm
this season, you're picking Tottenham and Liverpool above Arsenal. Forget about form. You're picking those two
right.
above us. My biggest thing for Arsenal that I have to give Mikel Arteta so much credit for is that, Jack, this is the first time that I'm going to look at fixtures like Chelsea away, even Tottenham away, and I have belief in my heart that Arsenal can go there and not get a point, but win comfortably. And that to me is like, the fact that, Jack, we have Chelsea coming up in November. I'm excited for that game. And trust me, in all my time of like being an Arsenal fan, there isn't a time that I'm looking forward to seeing Arsenal play against a team like Chelsea. You know, top teams like even the Manchester City game to a certain point. From what I've seen, I'm like, let's have a go. Let's really have a go. If we lose, we lose. You know, and it's not a thing where before what I would say in my mind is that hope we don't get embarrassed. I just hope we don't get embarrassed.
Right.
Now I'm thinking, guys, we can do this. Like we can generally go to a Manchester City team and put something on them. Now, will we do it is a different story. If Erling Haaland's on one and we know how stupid he's been able to make defenders look, but the thing with it's just everything's changed right now. There is belief beyond belief there. There is a team who's oozing in confidence. You look at William Saliba. Jack, if somebody told me that he was going to be this good, I wouldn't have believed you. Like, goodness gracious, Jack, he's looking like a Rolls Royce. Gabriel next to him, he's had his mishaps there, and yes, I'm a little bit worried about him, but he's been really good. Ben White, you talk about the right backs, who's the right back for England right now? There's a chance he could go. If Kyle Walker isn't fit and someone like Trent Alexander-Arnold's playing at this level, listen, Ben White should be a shoo-in to go to Qatar. I look at midfield right now, Odegaard, this game stepped up. Granted, Xhaka, Jack, he's becoming this box-to-box guy who's just playing in the half spaces, and he's causing absolute havoc. And it's amazing what one player can do to a whole team, Jack. Gabriel Jesus just came in, and we thought that he was a good player.
Yeah, for sure.
We didn't see this coming. Now, the biggest thing for Jesus right now is that with all his overall play, can he turn his all overall play into more production, as in goals-wise? If he can do that, Jack, then you're looking at not just a good player in England, you're looking at one of the best in Europe. That's the sort of ability in my eyes he has, you know?
Yeah, look, I agree with you. I do fear the fragility there a little bit. You know, again, a Gabriel Jesus injury scares the death out of me. If I was an Arsenal fan, it would scare me to death. Yeah. What I think, though, mate, is you're potentially getting into, and maybe with Martinelli, that's your little get out of jail free card. Maybe he can go through the middle and just get by, right? Maybe for 2 or 3 games if Jesus is out. But you're kind of getting into Harry Kane Spurs territory. Remember all those transfer windows where it was like, all we've got is Kane. We need a back. We need Carlos Vinicius. Who was the Dutch guy they had too? They had
I know
Janssen, Vincent Janssen. You had all these kind of names where it was like, yeah, this guy's going to be a backup. But then when the person came in, it was like, who the hell's this guy? And I know you got Eddie Nketiah, but that's not the level of guy who needs to come in and back you up. I look at a team, you know, again, and this is a team with a hell of a lot of money. If Manchester United don't have Anthony Martial starting at number 9, they can put Cristiano Ronaldo there, or they can put Marcus Rashford in there, or there's even if it's a player who kind of plays out wide but can then play in that central role, I think what you need is one of those wingers who can kind of play as a striker too, kind of a Thierry Henry type of guy. Jesus is kind of similar in that way, though. You know what I mean?
Jack, I feel like the biggest thing you mentioned is the fact of lack of depth in this Arsenal team. Jack,
right.
The biggest thing is when I always look at the team sheet, and the team sheet, I like it, and then I look at the bench, I'm seeing what type of attacking options do we have there. Fabio Vieira is great, but he's not going to come in and change the game from the point of view of productivity going forward. Like I'm talking about goal scoring.
I like him as a backup for Odegaard, though. I would say that's a stronger depth spot than most of your squad.
You look at Manchester United's team right now. You mentioned Anthony Martial, Cristiano Ronaldo coming off the best. Man City, you got your Riyad Mahrez, you got Alves on the bench. You know, even Liverpool's been able to bench the £100 million player, Darwin Núñez. Jesus went down against Liverpool and he got a whack to the face and he stayed down, and Firmino was calling players there, and you can just hear a massive at the Emirates. It was like almost the life been sucked out of us. And if somebody like Jesus just goes down, you feel like, oh, here comes the Arsenal from last season,
right?
Because that's the type of water we're treading, where one player, maybe a Saka, maybe a Martinelli goes down because we let Pepe go, we didn't replace him. Emil Smith-Rowe is down. If something like that happens, an injury here or there could be serious consequences to pay, and that's the only thing that kind of really worries me at this moment of time.
You might want to go a little higher in the quality than this, but the 3 names, or the 2 or 3 names that come to mind, are Callum Wilson, Ollie Watkins, a player kind of like that, who you're not going to have to give loads of money to, who's happy being on the bench when everybody's fit, right? You don't want to sign some superstar for tens of millions who then's going to be sat on the bench because everything's going swimmingly in the league, right? Just think a player of that nature, you could kind of just sit in there and just kind of, I guess, see what they're made of off the bench. That scares me. And then, James, the other thing as well, it's a funny old game. That's the cliche, right? VAR decisions may not go your way, right? Injuries happen, right? There's all sorts of red cards can happen. There's all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff. I want to see this Arsenal team get tested mentally and emotionally and see how they do after the fact.
I don't think it's meant to.
The Man United game was a little bit of that, but I think, we watched the game and we watched the analysis from the pundits as well. I think the ongoing theme there was a naivety there. Manchester United didn't really deserve to win. Manchester United didn't play the better football and just beat Arsenal through and through. A lot of the time it was like, Arsenal tactically, why have you done that? Because that's the only reason they've scored. And they came back from that really, really well. I think it's a loss to... My thing is, I don't think they'll lose. Like, James, we're going to do our predictions here soon. Whoever they're playing this weekend, I'm telling you it's not a big team. And I'm telling you, I'm probably going to pick Arsenal to win. They have that level now. When they lose one of those games, which will happen at some point, what's the reaction? What happens in training? What happens in the next game? What happens midweek,
Jack, I don't think that's much of an issue because we've seen it last season so many times. Arsenal win 4 or 5 games and then you've seen a reaction. You've seen a comeback. Right. That's not, to me, the problem. The problem is for this Arsenal team, and this is going to tell me the difference between many other Arteta teams and what happens when the pressure's on. So there's 30-something games gone and Arsenal must win to get Champions League spot or a knockout stage game in the Europa League. Because twice right now, I've seen it from Mikel Arteta. Sevilla, Villarreal at home. We need one goal to go to the Europa League final. What happens? We draw an absolute blank. We're 2 wins off a Champions League spot. We go away to Tottenham and away to Newcastle, and we pull our pants both times.
I'm just looking at the run-in.
To me, it's pressure moments where it's must win, where you see Manchester City come through when they go 2-0 down against Aston Villa. You've seen Liverpool come through on so many occasions. It's clutch moments. If we can respond to that, that will tell me that, okay, there's a big change in this team. When the pressure's really on, like, it's, okay, you guys must win. Because, Jack, let's be truthfully honest right now. You lose a game right now, it's not the be-all and end-all of...
No, of course. Of course not.
But coming to the end of the season where we have to go away somewhere, and
well,
we must
let me tell
get
you,
Champions League or even go for the title. That's when I know that there's something different.
Well, let me tell you, because I got it up. 26th of April, Wednesday, away at Man City. That's the last but 6 games, right? Game after that at home against Chelsea. So you got Man City and Chelsea back to back as game week 34 and 35, I think. Oh, no, 34 and 35. But then the run-in, the final 4 games, Newcastle, Brighton, Nottingham Forest, last game, Wolves. So I don't, as much as that double game stretch of City and Chelsea is going to be, that's potentially a 6-point swinger. Let's be real. There's always the chance that you can claw it back over those final games. Guys watching, can Arsenal win the league this year? Man City, look, as much as they're getting plaudits from me, from fantasy football owners, from you name it, they're not above Arsenal Football Club. They're not.
Jack, let me just make something clear. Manchester City have turned the Premier League into a bit of a sideshow where it's almost like coming to be like a non-competitive league because Arsenal could be 5-10 points clear and people still won't believe because Manchester City are that good. It feels like to me that the team who gets second, because Manchester City were just head and shoulders above the rest, will win the league. Will almost get the imaginary trophy, which it shouldn't be like that, and everyone's mentality should be wanting to finish first. But the gap between City and the rest of the Premier League teams is just so big. You find it hard to make that comparison. Like I wanted to see something different from Manchester United, and City wiped the floor of Manchester United, and for 70 odd minutes, it wasn't really a contest. And to be fair, 90 minutes, it wasn't really a contest. And that just shows you the gap. Because Manchester United are still a very, very good team. Man City can make teams look stupid.
Right.
And I look at for Arsenal right now is that second place should be the aim, or should challenge Manchester City. Not saying beat Manchester City because that's a difficult task. You challenge them, that will tell me something definitely different.
Just getting your respect back, mate. getting your respect back. I know it's a bit of a joke now at this point, but finishing top four consistently, being respected, being the best team in North London, right? Beating Chelsea the odd time here and there, right? Getting that kind of mojo back, because Arsenal have been the sixth best team in the league and made fun of for quite a while now. So getting them back there is good.
But Jack, you mentioned respect, and one thing I realized about respect the other day was that the game against Liverpool played a 4-2-4 away from home at the Emirates.
Right.
No team, if let's say if Jurgen Klopp respected your team, he wouldn't have done that. There's no way Jurgen Klopp would go to Stamford Bridge or go to the Etihad and play a 4-2-4, because he would be scared that my midfield is going to get a run. If we beat that press, we're open. The fact that Liverpool came to the Emirates and did that lets me let me knew that teams haven't taken Arsenal seriously for many years, and Klopp believed that we're going to go there and we're going to go for the throat. And to see Liverpool, it's not disrespectful, but I find it disrespect that you want to go that gun ho away from home because you're not as scared of Arsenal. That's just one thing I'm gonna say. But
it's true. Look, and James paid the price. Guys at home, let us know what you think. Can Arsenal win the league here? Maybe. You never know. Maybe James would be a happy man. Got more faith in Arsenal winning their league than Roma winning their league at the moment. I'll tell you that for darn sure. If you like what you've seen, drop a like on the video. While you're down there, please double check that you're subscribed. Sometimes the algorithm will give you our videos. You won't be subscribed. So do hit that. Hit the bell as well, because we're going to be very active during the World Cup, as I'm sure you can imagine. Apart from that, until next time, we'll see you.